All right, YouTube, I'm so excited to be with you today. We're continuing our series on cards that you should be buying right now. What are some cards that you should be buying? Last week we looked at kaijus, as kaijus are not in the meta game, therefore their prices are lower. They will come back into the meta game. You should be buying them right now. Today, we're going to be looking at cards that are a little bit more expensive. We're going to be looking at Collector's Rares Staples. My name is Todd from Go2 Cards. Let me just say, we are brand new to YouTube. We would very much appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. We're putting out videos, I think, about 3 to 4 times a week. At least that's our hope. If you like what we're doing, hit the thumbs up like button, subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it immensely, and we would love for you to be a part of this community that we're trying to build. Let's move on from there. Let's get right into it. Collector's Rare Staples. What cards am I talking about? What is categorized as a staple in Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm going to give you a couple examples. First of all, I think cards like Torrential Tribute in Collector's Rare Staples. I think this is a staple, meaning that it's going to come in and out of the format throughout the life of Yu-Gi-Oh. This card will find its way back into the meta at different times. And it's a card that is generic. It can be played by pretty much every deck. In addition to that, you got cards like Cosmic Cyclone in Collector's Rare. This is a staple. This will come in and out of the meta. It's just a card that you should have. Cards like E-Telly. This is a staple right here. This will come back in when you have a deck you have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Psychic deck that is doing really well, or you want to run a psychic deck, you're going to be looking for E-Tellys. Cards like Solemn Strike. These are staples. That's what I'm talking about. I got a bunch over here. I'll show you the cards that I've been buying. I'll show you why I've been buying them, and cards that I'm going to be looking at in the future. So let's jump right into this. Why should you be buying Collector's Rare Staples? Well, first of all, I think that the cards are way too cheap for what they are. You're generally looking at somewhere around $30, $40 to $50. On the high end, you could hit $60. But for a Collector's Rare version, that's just way too cheap. It's way too cheap for a variety of reasons. And the first reason is they're hard to get. They're hard to get. Cosmic Cyclone, what did this set came out of? This came out of Tactical Masters. All right. When this came out of Tactical Masters, I opened 4 cases of Tactical Masters right in the very beginning. I did not pull one of these. I did not pull one Cosmic Cyclone in 4 cases. Now, I did pull a bunch of Collector's Rares and a lot of doubles, but no Cosmic Cyclones. If you're looking to pull a play set of Cosmic Cyclones by opening up Tactical Masters, you're going to have to open up about 16 cases. That's a lot of cases. You're probably going to get some blisters on your fingers from opening packs. You're going to get some cuts on your fingers. That's a lot of packs to open. So people are going to be buying these as singles. They're not going to be cracking open Tactical Masters a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, searching for Cosmic Cyclone. No, they're just going to go out and they're going to buy the card. In fact, those deck building sets, nobody's buying those a year from release, 2 years from release, 5 years from release. Only on rare occasions is that happening. One of them just happens to be Grand Creators. But besides for every Grand Creators, you're going to have about 5 Ancient Guardians. And so just realize that, most of these cards, people are going to be hunting them. They're hard to get. And because of that, just simple supply and demand. These cards are going to go up over time. You know I'm right. Do it now. Jump in now. I know spending $30, $40, $50 for a card can hurt. When I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, the most that I would ever spend for a card for about a year was $1. And the best card that I had was a Twin Twister because that was the only card that was $1 that I thought was worth buying. And so, obviously now we spend a lot of money on cards, but do it now. Get them out of the way. Have them. You'll thank me later. So they're going to go up because they're hard to get. One of the things, and I don't know if this is true. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been playing with the collector's rares, and I think that they're more durable than pretty much any other Yu-Gi-Oh card. I think collector's rares hold up in actual play more than any other type of cards. The cards that I hate dueling with the most are ultimate rares. I feel like I'm going to ding that shiny corner, or I'm going to mess it up. They feel so fragile to me. Collector's rares do not. I feel like they hold up better than most cards. All these cards, all these play sets, these are my Cosmic Cyclones. These are the cards that I play. And they look as good as they did the day that I bought them. So I think they hold up. I think they're going to go up in price. I think there's going to be a lot of demand for these cards, and they're cards that you're always going to need to go back to. They're always going to float in and out of the meta. And if you have these, you're never going to have to worry, do I have my E-Telly? Do I have my Anti-Spell Fragrance? This card just shot up from about $35 to $45 on TCG. So, cards like that. Right now I'm in the process of getting my Pot of Desires. Why am I buying Pot of Desires right now? This came out in Toon Chaos. Why am I buying this right now? Well, I'm buying it right now because it's pretty cheap. For a Toon Chaos card, now, I don't care about first edition or unlimited, so mine are going to be unlimited. I'm good with that. But for a Toon Chaos collector's rare, Pot of Desires, for about $50, maybe a little bit more, for about $50, I'm good with that. And the reason that the card is cheap right now is because you can't play this card in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you play this card in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're stupid. I'm just going to put it that way. Because there are too many decks out there that are banishing cards. And there are too many Runic decks. And if you're playing this and you happen to be going up against the Runic deck, game over. You just helped them. You just got rid of a fourth of your deck for them. So because the card is not playable right now, this does not mean this is a bad card. This is a very good card. But it's really touchy whether you can play. At best, you can play this in the side deck. But if you draw this turn one, you play it, you mill out 10 of your cards, and then you find out that the guy you're playing is playing Runic, boy, you're in a world of hurt. But because of that, this card is a good deal. And so that's what I'm buying right now. I'm also buying Gizmic Orochis. Way too cheap. Way too cheap on the Gizmic Orochis. Let me take you over here. I'm going to bring up my display so that you can see it. And then we'll put the overlay on there. All right, Gizmic Orochi. Now, that's a card that just came out in Amazing Defenders, and that is a card that does see play from time to time, particularly, if you're a Grand Maju player, obviously. But Gizmic Orochi is way down here, $28. $28 is the market price. It isn't even 30. I bet you can get that if you're willing to roll the dice on somebody who's not who doesn't have the little stars by his name. I can't remember what it's called. If you're willing to roll the dice, I bet you can get it for 25 bucks. Gizmic Orochi, that's a card that I'm buying right now. Another card that I'm buying right now, Rescue Rabbit. $33 for the Rescue Rabbit. By the way, if you haven't seen Rescue Rabbit live in person, it is absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful card. Another card that I'm looking at buying, Snake Rain. It's way too cheap. And I know reptiles suck. Reptiles are horrible. But if they do put out a good reptile deck, you can bet your butt that everybody is going to be scrambling for Snake Rain. You already have them. Get these collector's rares now. Get them in your binder. Have them when you're ready to go. Now, I realize not everybody can afford to do this. If you can't afford to do it, try and get to a place where you can someday. But for those of you who can, buy collector's rare staples. Don't mess around with these. Don't mess around with Queen's Knight and all these other silly cards unless you're actually playing the deck. That's what I got for you today. Collector's rares, staples. Buy them now. Get them in your binder. I am out of here.